This is the moon shot from the new Samsung S20 Ultra. Seriously, all these reviews and nobody bothered to point the phone to the moon. It even says SpaceZoom. The most logical thing to do should be pointing this to space, right? But there's a reason for that. First, all these reviews are sponsored and are not running the final software. And for that reason, Samsung didn't let show proper camera samples. And second, the 100 times SpaceZoom is kind of a gimmick. So this video is an in-depth review of the mighty 100x SpaceZoom. As a disclaimer, this video is not sponsored. The phone was just released in Korea and I bought it with my own money. So I'm reviewing it as someone who spent a stupid amount of money in a smartphone. Because when you get stuff to review for free, it softens your judgment on its shortcomings. So with this out of the way, let's go. While I did record the video at the start with a phone, the twist is, it wasn't just a phone. I had to use a cheap clip-on lens. That's cheating! I know. And I had to use the lens on the main sensor, not the telephoto. This is how the moon looks with just the phone. Yeah, now you know why no one bothered to shoot it. It simply doesn't focus and doesn't allow you to bring down the exposure enough. It's so disappointing that the Pro mode it's limited to the main camera. There's no reason why you shouldn't be able to use Pro mode with the other lens. Even using Filmic Pro, it allows you to control the wide angle lens but not the telephoto. So you have no way to set your focus to infinity and bring down the exposure. It's stupid because the phone is being limited by software and not hardware. If you could control those settings, I could have used this cheap lens on the telephoto and get really high quality footage of the moon, but if it's not available in the release software, I really doubt Samsung will make this available later. And it's a shame. Now that we have the moon out of the way, daytime shots look a bit better. It starts really good at 4x and stays okay all the way to 10x. After that the quality starts going down but still okay. 50x is already pushing it too far, and at 100 is just unusable. It's not really what you expect from a phone that boasts it has 100 times zoom. If it boasts it has that feature, you would expect it would be at least a bit usable and not this mushy mess. Because here's the deal, the 100x is digital zoom. You know what else has 100x digital zoom? Every freaking camera in the world. Because digital zoom is just taking an image and stretching it as much as you can until you have pixels the size of your screen. Why is Samsung advertising and marketing digital zoom is beyond me. So we know that the 100x is digital, but some part has to be optical, right? They have a periscope zoom lens, really advanced technology. Here's the funny part. I've seen reviewers saying it's 10x, 5x, and 4x optical. And the truth is, confirmed by Samsung, it's 4x. Out of the 100 advertised as a feature, only 4x is actual optical zoom. And this next fact may blow your mind. The other S20 variants, the S20 and the S20 Plus, do not have a telephoto lens. Let that sink in. They put another camera module with another wide angle lens, but they are cropping the sensor to sell you a phone with 3 cameras when it could have been pretty much just 2. I'll link the article that explains all that because I want to focus on the Ultra in this video. Anyway, I talked about cropping the sensor. Here's what it means. This telephoto sensor is 48 megapixels at 4x optical zoom. But 48 megapixels is a lot of pixels. To put in comparison, to record a 4K video, you only need 8.5 megapixels. So if you only use a small part of the sensor, you still have enough pixels to make the video or photo look good. This is what it's called lossless zoom. You are zooming, but the final result still has enough pixels to be acceptable in the format you are shooting. And by my math, it should be lossless all the way to 16 times zoom. Pretty impressive stuff, but there's a but. That's how it works in theory. In practice, it's another story. Smartphone sensors are really small, and by cropping their little sensors, the pixels are just so small that the quality really takes a hit. You see, when you are at 4x, you are using the entire sensor. And not just that, you are using a 48 megapixel sensor downscaled to wherever the resolution you're shooting with. It's the same thing as super sampling in the graphic options of a game. You are rendering the game at a higher resolution than the output, and that helps with the quality. So although technically the zoom at 16x is lossless, it doesn't even come close when you compare it with the quality of 4x. In video mode, the zoom is limited to 20x, and just like in photo mode, 4x is really where you want it, but all the way up to 10x still looks acceptable. Even going from 4 to 5, you'll notice a slight quality drop getting lower and lower at each increment. But after 10, it really starts to plummet. Another big thing to mention is the focus hunting. It's so bad and can ruin your shots completely. You can lock the focus and exposure, but for moving subjects, you can't count on the autofocus. It's another thing that simply using the Pro mode would help a lot and allow you to pull focus yourself, but you know, that option is not there. It sucks that most of the shortcomings of this phone are software related. Like also in Pro mode, you can adjust the color settings if you're shooting at 60 FPS. Like, why? It's not like it takes extra computing power. You are already adding a ton of contrast and saturation. Telling the phone to tone it down a bit won't wait any more on the CPU than what you're already doing. The phone is full of stuff like this. Little options that only work in really specific conditions for no reason. But I'll leave that for the full camera review. This video, we're just focusing on the zoom lens. With the software rant out of the way, hardware-wise, this is still pretty good. Usually other phones' telephoto lens are not very good even at their native zoom. So the quality being this good at 4x is an awesome starting point. So to answer the title of this video, the zoom in this phone is legit. Sure, the 100 times is a gimmick, but that doesn't take away how good it actually is in the 4 to 10 range. And that's a really good zoom range to have with you at all times. If we compare it to a photography lens, it's the equivalent to have a 13 to 104 millimeters optical in your pockets. 13 to 260 if we include a bit of the lossless zoom. It's really not a joke, and it's amazing a phone can do that. So don't be put off by the comments saying that 100 times zoom looks like crap and that the zoom sucks. The 100x does look like crap, but if you stay in the usable zoom range, that 4 to 10, which is really impressive for a phone, you'll have a great experience. I'll be posting an in-depth review of the camera as a whole, going through all the menus and all the options, so make sure you subscribe for that. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching and see you next time.